Why are experienced photographers deliberately choosing camera that lacks even the most basic features and yet costs just as much as other cameras that do so much more? This is the Ricoh GR3X. It has no viewfinder, no tilting or articulating screen, no built-in flash, no weather sealing, no 4K video, heck, doesn't even have any video features that are noteworthy. No microphone jack input, abysmal battery life, slow autofocus, and I can go on and on about all its lacking features. On paper, this camera makes little to no sense, and yet a lot of experienced photographers are choosing this camera over every other camera they own. When I travel or take day trips and I want to take good photos, but I don't want to think about photography, this is the camera I bring with me. When I traveled to London several weeks ago, I would have loved to tell you about this camera and how it performed or how it proved itself, you know, how it captured the perfect shot, the perfect light, the perfect moment. But that's not what happened. What happened was I forgot about this camera. And I don't mean I left it behind. I mean it was just sitting in my sling bag, so lightweight, so compact, it just disappeared. Just like my watch, my phone, my wallet, I carry it around completely unaware of its existence until the moment I need it. It's just there with me. So for example, when I was in London with a friend, no shoot planned, no golden hour to chase, no fixed agenda. Whenever something caught my eye, I would just grab the camera from my bag, do a quick composition, snap the photo, and put it away. I didn't tweak any settings on the camera, just set to aperture priority f2.8 to f4 and let the camera handle the rest. I would come home with hundreds of finished JPEGs with film simulation baked right in, no raw files, no editing, just finished photos. You can't get any more frictionless than that. But it's not perfect, so let's run this camera through the 4 foundations of frictionless cameras: form, function, results, and value. Form, the biggest selling point of this camera. It's the reason why this camera lacks a lot of features, but also the big reason why plenty of photographers love this camera. When I first picked up the GR3X, I found it a little too small, too compact. But after spending some more shooting time with the camera, my opinions shifted a little bit. It sits right at the edge of what I find acceptable when it comes to compact cameras. It's as small as it can possibly be without crossing the line into something more unwieldy or unmanageable. Unlike the Sony RX100 Mark VII, love that camera, but man, I really don't like, handling that camera. Cramps up my hands, just... What I do appreciate about the Ricoh grip though, although it's not deep like most other cameras, it is wide and round, so you're still able to get a decent grip on it. It is also rubber texturized, so even better grip. I also added a thumb rest here for added security, and I learned a hack recently. This right here is a finger loop, or it's actually a zipper pull. I found it in one of my bags, but it fits your finger perfectly because for cameras this size, a wrist strap can actually be bulky or it can even get in the way. I have this finger loop on most of my compact cameras now. Okay, so this camera is genuinely pocketable, not just jacket pocketable, okay? Pants pocketable. I still wouldn't recommend it putting in your pants though, because you might accidentally sit on them or they might be too tight, depending on your pants situation. Instead, I keep it in my sling. This one is an FE Design 1.5 liter waist pouch. I'll link it below. The Ricoh takes up so little space in this bag that it leaves a lot of extra room for my phone, my wallet, my keys, and other accessories I need to bring with me. I know it's hard to see, but the Ricoh is just bouncing around in there because there's so much room. Not because of the sling or the bag, but because this Ricoh is just that compact. It's a camera that doesn't demand its own camera bag or forces you to pack around it. It just slots into your day like your wallet, your keys, your watch, whatever you're used to bringing with you every day. It's completely out of the way compared to most cameras. Just like when I took the Ricoh on a day trip to the Toronto subway system with my friend Mark from the YouTube channel Glasbo. He just made a video about the history of some of the subway stations. Genuinely fascinating stuff. I'll link his channel below. Some of the photos you've been seeing throughout this video are from that day. Function. I treat this camera the way I treat my other action cameras. With my action cameras, I set them to full auto. With this one, semi-auto, I guess it's aperture priority. I set the aperture on this camera to f2.8 to f4 depending on the scene. It even has an internal ND filter which is perfect for shooting in bright sunlight, but otherwise I let the camera handle the rest. So shutter speed and ISO are on auto. If you do want more manual control, this camera has a dial here, here, and here. So going full manual actually isn't that hard on this camera. Although from my personal experience and checking it online, this control wheel here in the back is prone to failure. It's jumpy whenever I try to use it, especially if I want to do manual control of the ISO. The numbers skip a lot and it's actually pretty annoying. So that's actually one reason why I have ISO and auto. And just like Fujifilm's famous recipes, the Ricoh actually also has baked-in film simulations. That's one big reason why I like shooting on the Ricoh, because sometimes I just don't want to edit a photo in Lightroom, especially coming back from vacation or a day trip and you open your folder to see hundreds and hundreds of photos. Oh. Results. This is why photographers still choose this camera, because the final photos don't show that you're sacrificing image quality by compromising on the size. The image quality isn't in question at all. It has an APS-C size sensor, which I don't know how they managed to even fit it in this small compact body. Especially again when you compare it to another point and shoot camera, the Sony RX100 Mark VII. The Sony has a way smaller 1-inch sensor. The only comparable APS-C compact camera is the Fujifilm X100, which is actually huge compared to this. Even Fujifilm's smallest APS-C camera, the XM5 with a lens, is still bigger than this Ricoh GR3. One thing I actually forgot to specifically mention, this is the Ricoh GR3X, emphasis on the X, because the standard GR3 actually has a 28mm equivalent lens, while the GR3X has a 40mm equivalent lens. And I find the 28mm a bit too wide for how I shoot. So my personal preference is the 40mm on the GR3X, which is closer to how I like to shoot my photos. I like tighter frames and more compressed shots because I like to shoot details. I also use this camera for professional product photography. It has a macro function, which is actually perfect for shooting watches. I do have to point out some downsides to the camera. It has really slow autofocus, well, at least when you compare it to a lot of modern cameras these days. Another big downside is the abysmal battery life. Ugh. Value. Well, this is where people start arguing. I have the older model, so it's cheaper than the newer model, the GR4, which actually was a bump up in price by a few hundred. So the GR4 is quite expensive. That I understand why people complain about the price on that. Because at that price, which is I think $1,500 for the GR4, you can absolutely get a camera with more features, more capabilities, more everything. Of course, it's going to be bigger too, but still, for $1,500, you can get a very capable camera. Because on paper, and when you look at comparing the spec sheets, it's not very flattering for the Ricoh cameras. But here's the thing, the people who buy these types of cameras aren't beginners looking at spec sheets or gearheads who look at spec sheets. In my personal opinion, from using this camera and from observing, the photography community, this camera is for seasoned photographers. Photographers who've owned multiple camera bodies and multiple lenses. Photographers who traveled with their heavy kit and their heavy gear through airports. Photographers with families and they just want to take good photos of their families without having to lug their serious gear. Those photographers all arrive at a very specific conclusion. They just want to take good photos. No gear management, no decision fatigue, no coming home to dump hundreds or even thousands of raw photos only to edit in Lightroom. You just want to go out, see something, and capture it. So when it comes to value, that's why the older versions, the GR3 and the GR3X, makes a lot of sense to me because they're cheaper. And while the GR4 is an upgrade, although I haven't used it, it doesn't entice me enough to upgrade from my GR3X. I don't struggle enough with the limitations of this camera to warrant an upgrade. But if the control wheel here on the back breaks on me, I might have to consider it. But yeah, I carry this camera because it's lightweight, it's compact, and a spec bump isn't gonna change that. Whenever I travel, I bring several cameras with me. 4, actually. In my past 3 trips, yeah, I brought 4 cameras with me on each trip. The Ricoh GR3 is the only camera that I brought with me in all those trips. All the other cameras I'd be changing because I need to test and review several cameras. This is the only camera that hasn't left my travel kit. It's just that camera. And not that the other cameras weren't capable. This one just got out of the way. With this camera, you pay more to get less. The Ricoh GR3 or GR3X is the camera you arrive at, not the camera you start with. I didn't get caught by sunset this time. Sun is still there. I mean, it's behind the trees now. When the video started, the sun was just beaming on my face. Right now, I'm sitting on the shade with nice, even lighting. This park has a lot less mosquitoes this time around. When I started this channel in the spring and when I shot here, I was just getting swarmed. And several times when I tried to shoot other camera reviews, when I'd come here, I would just turn around because whenever I just parked the truck, immediately swarmed. I'm like, nope, I ain't deal with this. I have to find somewhere else. But right now, it's nice.